All right. I think enough people have gathered here today for my big rant, guys. From Alistair, he tweeted out some meta-changing changes will be committed to staging this week. And I was so excited, man. And so many creators were like, let him cook. And then today, this was what the changes were, okay? Destroyed foundation block, instant rebuilding. MLRS lockout increased to 20 from 10 minutes. High walls to be demolished 10 minutes after placed. High externals now take 3 seconds to deploy, and movement cancels placement. C4 prevents upgrading for 30 seconds when it lands on a wall. Tech tree unlock tax. Workbench level 1 is 0%, and then it's 10% for workbench level 2, and then workbench level 3 is 20%, and then cargo ship docks at both harbors. And then some gunplay changes are on the way soon with no actual info. Already, you can see 400 comments and 571 likes, okay? And if you look at the comments here, a lot of people are not happy. I posted a picture of my 2 beautiful cats because I needed to feel better after seeing this. Like, we were put on a big pedestal, like we were promised ice cream, and then we were given whipped cream. So many Rust creators have something to say about it, okay? For me, it's like in the right direction, okay? It's in the right direction. We're addressing some things that are problems in the game, but it's not, I don't know, it just seems misguided a little bit. So obviously tech tree is a big problem, but having a tax of 10% or 20%, it doesn't actually fix the fundamental problem behind the tech tree. The tech tree is a problem because you can just gather scrap and then get all the blueprints from the comfort of your own base. Putting a 10% tax or 20% tax will not change people from using the tech tree. It'll just make it more annoying for smaller groups or like solo players. They just have to gather 20% more or 10% more. This will not change anything for Zergs though, because Zergs have tens of thousands of scraps within hours. They won't need this. I do like the cargo ship docks at both harbors because I played a wipe recently with oil rats, and it only spawned in like one area and then went to one harbor the whole time. I think going to both harbors allows for more counters, which is awesome. C4 prevents upgrading for 30 seconds when it lands on a wall. So I guess this is like a buff for online raiding, but at the same time, like how many raids will this affect, right? A lot of people shoot first before putting the C4 first anyways. So this is like kind of a useless update. So this one is the most controversial one here. High external walls now take 3 seconds to deploy. So a lot of PvP is wall PvP. If you get shot, you put down a wall. And pretty much every single fully geared player in Rust roams with high externals. This changes PvP forever. It changes a lot of things, actually. It changes roaming. It changes online raids. I don't know. Like, if you think about Rust, time to kill is like 0.2 seconds. You can literally die 0.3 seconds. You get doubled with an AK, you just die. As soon as you get shot, you have to put an external down. Now only you can put the small wall, which barely covers you. I don't know, man. Like, removing this and not saying anything about like buffing the small walls, it just rage bait. High walls being demolished 10 minutes after place. So you can place a wall to make a compound. If you mess up, you can demolish it. I don't know if I like that, man. I'm scratching my head. Like, I'm stressed. Like, being able to demolish it creates a plethora of possible problems that didn't exist before. One of the W's is the MLRS lockout. I'm starting from bottom to top. I'm sorry. But this also doesn't change anything. It'll just make siege raids even longer. And destroyed foundations block instant rebuilding. I'm going to test this on the staging today, but like, you know, if they were going to address online raiding, I thought they would fix being able to place normal walls instantly. That's what stops people from raiding online, because if you core someone, you can just keep placing down walls. But I feel like foundations didn't really matter. Nobody foundation raids anyone. I feel like this is just going to be annoying when you're building your base. But I guess this is a good change overall, but like, it's not meta changing though. Like, if you're saying meta changing, it changed fundamentally how you play the game. So this is why I feel like it's a little bit out of touch. Let's go in game and try some of the changes. Okay, so if we break this, there's actually a block now, so we can't actually put foundations, roofs. We can put roofs. Okay. Oh, I have to stand still. Oh, okay. It takes that long to place. I'm getting shot, guys. I'm getting shot. Oh, I'm safe. I'm safe behind. Come pick me up. You can still place these. But these are only available when it's winter time. Within TC access, you can demolish. But while you're getting online raided, I feel like most of the time the problem in online raids, like correct me if I'm wrong, isn't to patch the high external wall. It's the problem of like being able to upgrade instantly. Like this is broken. Like insta. That's the problem. Like I don't think it's ever a real issue patching this. I don't know. Another thing is tech tree tax. There's a tax on tech trees now. What's it looking like? Workbench tax, 20% on tier 3. And I think you can adjust it based on the server. And then the gunplay changes are coming soon, but I don't know what they could change about gunplay. Does that mean that like learnable recoils are coming, or like does that mean aim point is getting tighter? Anyways, I did see a post from Trowsy, and here's a list of meta changes in Rust that he would like to see. And I wanted to make my own because he has some good points as well. So I made a long ass post. I couldn't stop thinking about this. I have to say something. I need to get my point across. I don't care if devs listen to it or not. I just want to get it across. I know a lot of people won't read this. This is so long, dude. So that's why I wanted to talk about it. So if people want to watch a video on what I think, they can. So these are the actual meta changes I like to see in Rust, with actual explanations on why I think it's a good idea. So too long didn't read. It's nerf Outpost, change the tech tree, rework monuments, adjust the respawns, expand building, introduce new guns, and change the team UI. This is all things that a lot of people, not just creators, are advocating for, but I wanted to break it down. So the number one thing is Rework Outpost. I think it has the biggest effect on how the game is played because of 3 elements. You can safely recycle, you can use drones to buy guns from players for dirt cheap, and you have the ability to buy any resource or guns or turrets with just scrap. Not to mention, you can trade resources for other resources. I'm not getting into that, but like stone for wood. You can do cloth for scrap. You can do high qual for scrap, etc. So one of my suggestions is to remove recyclers from safe zones. This is a controversial one. A lot of players that are very used to having a safe progression will not agree with me, and I completely understand. I think it's needed. And another question I have is, why does Power Plant have 3 recyclers when it's the least visited monument, but Dome has 0? It makes no sense. So moving on, enough about the outpost. We are gonna have one more point about it, but it's gonna be later on, is the tech tree. That's the second biggest problem in the progression in Rust, in my opinion. With the tech tree, you no longer have to go to any specific place on the map to get anything. You can go progress at a tier 0, and you can progress to tier 3 guns. And if you have tech tree and you put a tax on it, like the change that was announced, it'll just make it more annoying the smaller your group is. Like Zergs will have infinite scrap anyways. Now imagine as a solo, you're trying to get a garage door. It went from like 500 scrap to like 650. You're still gonna use the tactics that you used to get scrap, but it's just gonna take longer. It's just annoying. It doesn't stop people from using the tech tree. This might be a hot take. Items that have a high impact on your ability to strengthen your own base for survival, or items that allow you to hinder another player's progress, shouldn't have some kind of linear path to it. Just because you get scrap doesn't mean you should get access to these guns. These items could be garage doors, explosive, guns, turrets. These are like high impact on gameplay items. Items for quality of life, like efficiency or like decorations, they're all fine to be on the tech tree, and we can still keep the tech tree, but it would only be for those kind of items like electric furnaces, better tools, better rugs, bare rugs, electricity. I talk about this a lot with people I play with, but I'm not sure why there's such an obsession of keeping tech tree the way it is. Maybe it's sunk cost fallacy of like, hey, we put so much development time into this, we don't want to revert it. But I think a lot of people can clearly see that it had a bad effect on the health of the game. If Facepunch decides not to remove tech tree at all, I think the compromise would be maybe make it so that you don't tech tree from your tier 2 and tier 3 workbench, but rather you must go to a monument with your scrap, and then you research it at like a, I don't know, some kind of technological advanced station that helps you learn the blueprints that you need. So the tech tree would be at a monument. And I would also love to see RNG based researches, because back in the day, you could just put it in a research table without any blueprint frags, or blueprint fragments were 2016, 2015's version of scrap. So you could just sacrifice the item for like a 30% chance of researching it, or maybe even like 17% if it was lower durability. I would love to see that again. Moving on, the third one is restoring balance in the monuments by giving a unique advantage to each one and nerfing and buffing certain monuments. Because right now, I think we all know there's no identity between each monument. Mining Outpost is just as good as in people's eyes as a launch site, or maybe even better. The difference between tier 0 and tier 3 monuments is so minimal. With the top-based insane respawn timers, you see 20-man clans live next to a supermarket. You've seen this many times. Every server has a huge Zerg that lives right next to a supermarket. Why is that? Because they don't need to go anywhere else. And then you go to launch site on like a 500 pop server and no one is farming it. No one's there. No one lives next to it. And people only go there if they're taking Bradley. Why? So this is one wild idea. Let me know if you guys agree. But maybe make it so that the overpowered monuments, they're not accessible until certain conditions across the map is met. Maybe the cargo ship timer only starts, you know, it's like 3 hours until it respawns, right? Maybe that only starts spawning after both harbors puzzles are completed. That will force players to actually go through the cards and do these monuments that nobody ever goes to. And if the tech tree is gone, maybe we can rework each monument to have better chances of giving certain themed items. Moving on to the next one. This is the sleeping bag limit. A lot of people thought this was a good idea. At first, I thought it was a step in the right direction too. As soon as this happened, it looks like it was a 1 step forward, 2 steps back situation. The reason why this was introduced in the first place is because when you're fighting like, let's say like a 10-man, you kill all 10 of them, they're gonna have 5 bags next to their bodies. So they insta-spawn, like a 1v10 turns into a 1v50. And that was like the zombie meta. And then they changed it to 15 limit, and theoretically it should work, but players just do the same thing now, but they just don't roam past their 1 grid. So the easiest solution here is to just remove the bag limit, revert it. And then you increase the range in which you can put bags together. I don't know how much it is. I think it's like 75 meters or something. Make it to like 150. So you have to spread each bag apart, like maybe 2 grids apart. Next up, I have 7 points. We're on the 5th one right now. Building in this game needs to expand. It needs to be changed because before it was completely broken, guys. You could put 4 foundations into each other and then you would have like 8 walls where there would normally be 2. So it was completely broken. There was a lot of exploits, but it was super creative. Every base was different. And when you're raiding somebody, it was like a puzzle. Dude, what the hell is this guy doing? Like, where is this guy's main loot room? And you had to like kind of play mind games and like see, okay, this is where they would have the loot. But now building got nerfed more and more. Designs got more solved every single update. If you look at Rust's YouTube right now for building, it's just the same. So what I propose, it's kind of a hard topic and I don't have the answer for this. But right now, I don't like how every base looks the same. Every base is spamming turrets. Every base has bunkers that are like low-key exploits. Can we try bolder experiments? Maybe we try adding new building blocks altogether. Or even a step down, we add different variations of current ones, like more steps, more different kind of windows, different kind of doorways maybe. We could mess around with like upkeep multipliers to allow players to build bigger. We could introduce more terrain integrated bases. Back in the day, there was rock bases, there was river mouth bases, there was anvil rock bases. There were so many bases that you can build based on your terrain. But right now, if you even try to build a cliff base, you'll find that you can't actually place a lot of foundations next to terrain. I just want to see more variety. Next up is the guns, guys. The latest guns that got added, what was it? The military grade flamethrower and the military grade M4 shotgun and also the minigun, which is a glorified python that gets only put into turrets now. Why are every single guns that gets added to this game year after year literally military grade? Like, is it because like we get to endgame in 30 minutes anyways? Can we please have more variety in the tier 1 and tier 2? For me, I'd love to see more guns like, I don't know, like slingshots, maybe wooden shields. So when you're fighting bows, you know, or like when you have like a P2 or something, you can have a wooden shield that would protect you against bows, but you can't use it with an AK, obviously. Maybe a slightly weaker tier 2 sniper, like a Winchester. You can't put any attachments on. Maybe the iron sight is super wonky. Maybe more stuff like the nail gun, right? Even reworking pre-existing things that became out of meta because it got over nerfed, like slugs, it could make things refreshing. It could reintroduce more guns into the pool of viable weapons that you can use. Another thing, what if you had like makeshift versions of certain guns? So for example, something more fully fleshed out that you can put together to make a weaker damage version, less stable, maybe like lower durability, maybe there's more aim cone version of an existing gun. Last one, Number 7, Team UI. This is a lot of controversial opinions, guys. I'm not saying this is the right answer and that there's no downsides and everyone's going to be happy with these changes. But from playing this game from pretty much, this is a lot of controversial opinions, guys. I'm not saying this is every single era, and seeing how the gameplay shifts, seeing how the meta shifted every time. I think Team UI, it needs to change. But at the same time, I know how good Team UI was for the casual player base. For people that don't want a hardcore experience, they just want to see a green dot and they want to see where their teammates are without having to ask. I get it. Back in the day, gunplay wasn't the only thing that was skill-based. There was communication, teamwork, coordination, and spatial awareness. And it was once a very integral part of Rust that separated the great groups from the papegas, from like the super bad groups that would get farmed by solos. Right now, it's easier than ever to just invite 30 jimmies from your math class. Hey guys, after class, let's go 30 deep on a server, and there will be zero downsides. And I think it's apparent to me that Team UI will never be removed. And countless official servers showed that they want to cater to Zergs. It's usually an 8-player limit. Pretty much every single high pop server has like 16-player limit. Someone even have a 32 Team UI. And a lot of people, like Kevin in my chat right now, says, I really hope devs don't listen to you. I really hope they don't just listen to me either. Like, I don't have a voice that much bigger than you guys. All I'm asking is just consider it. And it's okay to disagree. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. If you see this on my second channel, comment down below what you think. Let's have a discussion. I'm not saying my point is correct. Obviously everyone lives in their own echo chamber of how they like to play Rust. So this is my echo chamber. If you think differently, I'd love to hear it. Wait, I need to start my recording again. This is juicy. Alistair just replied, safe zone recycling will be touched. Oh, I love when Alistair touches stuff. More tier 1 and tier 2 guns on the roadmap by year's end. Safe zone vendors. Wait, I didn't talk about this, but I saw that there's wandering like traders. What does that mean? Are we gonna get Minecraft? Can we buy emeralds and stuff? This is why communication like this, discussion like this is amazing, dude. We get more insight from the devs. The devs get more insight from us. The hardcore, like, play 12 hours a day kind of people. Yeah, that's my take. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a good wipe. Goodbye.